Are you curious about how technology leaders are navigating the fast-paced world of digital transformation? Today we'll get to this big question. Hi, I'm Kiran Maistry. Welcome to Future of Our People. It's a series dedicated to leaders who are shaping the future of our. Today, we are honored to have Mr. Satyendra Pasalapudi with us. Satyendra is the Managing Director at Infolob, with carrying over 24 years of international IT experience. His expertise spans cloud services, big data, enterprise architecture, and more. Throughout his career, he has held significant roles at Oracle, Apps, Associates, Dell, and others, showcasing his exceptional leadership and strategic vision. Satyendra is also a co-founder of the All India Oracle Users Group and a frequent speaker at major conferences. His ability to merge business acumen with the technology makes him a transformative force in the tech industry. Mr. Satyendra, welcome to our podcast. It's great to have you with us today.
Thank you, Kiran. It was exciting to be part of this and appreciate it.
Thank you. Today, I'm really looking forward to have this discussion. It's not very often we get technology leaders. With your expertise today, we're going to understand a bit more about the technology trends and also go deeper in terms of your leadership styles as well. So to begin with, why did you choose this career path and what inspired you to pursue it?
Okay, so let me give a brief about my the path or journey. So I start my career as an Oracle DBA. When you say Oracle DBA, database administrator, so I shift my opportunities or the areas where I will be perfected based on the industry requirement as well as how the trends are changing. For example, first 3 years I was a hardcore DBA and then got into a managerial position and then was leading the team, started Oracle consulting practices with various companies like PointSoft and others. So as I grew up the ladder from manager and all, but I never left the technology aspect of it. The foundation has to be very strong. And then I was leading the teams on databases and all. Then I got to know that, okay, database is only a small part of the large IT ecosystem. So how do I get up to the next level? I wanted to get into a system side of the story, the IT side of the storage side. So I got into an IT head kind of position by upgrading myself constantly, because when you are in IT, you have to have a constant upgrade of your knowledge. That's where I say continuous learning. And then when 2010 onwards, when the cloud is coming up as the future, I transitioned from a data center person to a cloud person with AWS and others. And then I got into roles like, for example, Apps Associate. It was infrastructure managed practice, which is there supporting 24/7. I was fortunate and got an opportunity to convert into a cloud practice, which is AWS top tier. We became AWS top tier partner. And while my Oracle pedigree comes into picture, then we said, okay, Oracle on AWS, how do we do it that time? And then said, okay, cloud is good. Then we converted it to a multi-cloud, because every organization these days is not only one cloud, a multi-cloud is the new normal. So I got into Oracle Cloud when they started heavily, which is the Generation 2 cloud in 2016. I got myself into Oracle Cloud, and then I joined Oracle, leading the platform architecture services, which is Oracle Cloud for consulting for the EMEA and APAC. So that's where we have to tune our careers based on the market demand, how the transition is happening. For example, last, I can say 6 months onwards, I'm putting a lot of effort on the Gen AI, because that's a new buzzword. So how these leaders are, how do we see, end of the day, two aspects. One is you should always be the first mover in terms of learning it. Once you start doing that, automatically the ideas of what services we can offer to our customers, because on a consulting side, you should be always learning fast, failing fast, and show that leadership to the outside customers. Then they believe in you, and that's where even the small organization like us can compete with majors of the world, Accentures of the world, neck to neck, and fighting with them, trying to understand what they are providing, how we can be a niche player and provide our services. It always boils down to the continuous learning and upgrading your knowledge much faster than anybody else, because that's where the consulting thing. And this is where I have moved my career all along, ensuring that I should be the first to know what is happening in the market, learn it, grab it, and ensure that your team follows it. And that's where when you say leadership, when you're doing it, people should follow you. People should understand that, okay, this person who is non-technical guy or not a hands-on guy is talking about it. That shows that inspiration to them that, okay, I'm a technical guy, I can do much more beyond my leader. So that is where I believed it, and that helped me out in the last 24 years of career.
This is impressive. In fact, awesome, Satyendra. And what I loved about it is your constant learning, right? At every juncture of your life, you understood what needs to improve, right? I really loved about that first mover and linking it to market trends as well, right? What are the market trends and how do you move fast and get to? And no wonder how your curiosity in terms of continuous learning has helped you to become the managing director. And I would just wanted to touch base more about your company. If I'm right, it's the multi-award winning of Oracle partner, right? And just talk me through this transition, because I often see many leaders struggle because with a strong technology background that you have, to get into a position where now you need to wear the hat of business leadership as well. That comes with the different aspects of leadership priorities. So how was the transition and how did you go about it?
Sure. So when I got this role and joined Infolob as a partner in expanding it and heading the things, we wanted to start the cloud services. When I say cloud services, it was we are already delayed in terms of in the market. By 2021, we want to start the cloud practice. You can imagine it is too late by the time many other players in the market are there, and then AWS, Azure, and Google and Oracle. Now, the other thing we along with my CEO in US, we thought if we start doing it AWS and Azure and all, there are hundreds of players. We will be one of them. Because of our ecosystem is around Oracle, we are the partner of Oracle in US. Why don't we expand it? And then I, being an Oracle cloud expert, started, and I'm a big fan of Larry Ellison. Larry's posters are in my room with his quotes, which Oracle guys will be saying, okay, I have not seen Larry in Oracle, I'm seeing Larry in Infolob. So that's so I'm a big fan of Larry. And that me and my even CEO, founder CEO in US, is also a fan of Larry. So we said, okay, why don't we take Oracle Cloud as the go-to-market strategy and build our services around. And with my experience in the previous experiences with Apps Associates and Oracle directly, I found that a customer need not go to 3 or 4 partners for different services. They should have one point contact, and there is no fighting between the partners, so that the customer wants only one person or one partner who can deliver the things for them on the digital transformation. So what we did is we have planned or carved out in a way that there are very few players in the market that time when we started on the Oracle Cloud, especially in India and Middle East. And big companies were competing with or doing it in AWS and all. Then we said, okay, data center exit, why don't we create those skills where the same point which I said is a single point of contact. We said we have an Intel team, a Linux team, all these are cloud certified. Let me clearly tell you, because end of the day, when you say cloud is nothing but new. If you are doing a Linux administration, you have to do it inside the cloud. You are doing it in a hardware which is outside. But in order to be a Linux administrator, or Intel administrator, network administrator, the fundamentals of the cloud from a security network, everything is common. So you need to have your workforce trained on those basics, get them onto those particular specialization what they have, whether it's a DBA, Linux, Intel, security, NOC. So we have created these teams and we said, Mr. Customer, we will take care of your data center exit from on-premise to the cloud, and predominantly OCI we have chosen, and that helped us a lot. The major companies, the big companies, which is BFSI, I cannot name few of them publicly here, but we replaced large 5 top players in the market they were the incumbent vendors, and we replaced them and took their the entire operations onto our hands, where we help them in migrating that onto the cloud, and we manage on the cloud. So we are only the customers needs to have an IT manager and rest of it team Infolob 25/7 taking care of the customers. So that's where, which helped a lot, because Oracle is also very happy. They have a partner whom they can bank on. Otherwise, there is an Oracle Consulting which is very strong on Oracle only, and we said we can do non-Oracle, Oracle, because the entire data center migration is our forte. And when we had some few successes here and there, then we expanded heavily. And 2022, with just 1.5 year of experience, we were the Game Changer Tech Service Delivery Partner of the Year, which has 5 global finalists. And we have not won the award. It was Accenture won the award for EMEA. Then I said, we are the number 1 in APAC, and APAC we have beaten all the others. And that's the kind of confidence has given back to my team. And those people who are, I have team who are traveling with me for the last 15 years. Wherever I go, they join. So see, that gives you a trust, and you focus on your business, and there is a delivery team which is your trusted army. And I told them, boss, you believed me and coming to me, join me, but I need your team also should believe you and join you wherever you go. That is where we need to build the teams so that we grow up the ladder. And that's the trust factor which made it possible in building an empire of 350 people in the last 3 years. And we started the SaaS practice, and I took a person from again a industry specialist who joined and started my SaaS practice, Mr. DSK, we call him. We have Datta, who joined from, he was with Oracle for 18 years. He joined me. Sukumar, Anil, these are my 4 people who knows me, and blindly they joined, leaving big jobs. That's because they trust me and I trust them back. That's more important. So that's where it helped us to create. And what we did is, like, we also said we had invested 100 people on Oracle Cloud, where none of the other partners had that time. Now they are starting up because Oracle Cloud is growing up. That 100 people investment has worked out very well when we started growing. These people were now the guys who are handling single-handedly the projects, even though they are like 2-3 years of experience working with us. But the one important aspect is opportunity. You are giving 100%, opportunities will come. And then after starting here, I felt that your intentions and your vision intentions are very clear. See, money is secondary, but first thing is, are we providing an employment of 300 plus people? That is the satisfaction level, and that is driving. Initially, we started, okay, fine, we will have some customers and all. But once the customers came, we need to ensure that we need to grow, make the customers happy. And once we have people, how do we take care of these people? I need to provide salaries. I need to provide their career aspirations. All those things made me run. And now it is like one after the other. And we can have a look back. If I look back, it was like we were only 4 people. Now we have 350 people. Wow. And still we are like trying to make it big. Again, as you asked earlier, how do we ensure as a technologist? So technologist getting into business, there are some few fundamentals we need to learn about the cash management, all those things. But end of the day, that all boils down to your basic principles of few principles I will be talking about a little later. But again, the fundamentals, if they are strong, you can do anything. I believed after getting here, I said, there is nothing I learned new. But again, our fundamentals like checking your emails properly, making a note of the particular things that follow-ups on a constant basis, and every week having those cadences with multiple other teams and giving them the other important aspect is, you should not be a bottleneck for the decision making. You should make them responsible for their things. If they come back and says, give them the opportunity, give them, even they fail, you are there at the back, but give them the accountability, opportunity, then they will grow. So that is where it helped us a lot in what we are today. Even the first few employees who joined, believing me, we said, okay, we need a HR team and a recruitment team strong to grow. Then Raj, who is our VP HR, he said, Satya, I worked with you earlier. I want to join you. And he joined and he created Sukumar, Anil, all those people whom I they started career with me in my previous opportunities, and then they supported. So this is basically, it's a team effort. It's not an individual effort. I cannot take the complete I can say lack of words, but I cannot take the only thing. It's a team effort. It is me leading the team, but again, it's the others who have put their 100%, and that's where we are successful.
I mean, I would say this is a transformational journey here, Satyendra. I mean, starting from 4 people to growing a company of employee size of 350 people plus, and within a span of 3 years, is nothing but transformational. And what it shows that, and I mean, there was so many learning curve for me as well. What you said, it's very important. The growth doesn't happen like that. It's important you work with your CEOs, you work and create that unique differentiation, right? What is your unique selling point? How do you differentiate? And some of the examples that you talked about in terms of how some customers were that dependent on legacy, but when they saw this is the right fit for them, they were able to resist that change. More often than not, clients resist for any change, right? They love the status quo, but your unique differentiation has helped in terms of getting that change. And I also loved about how you went about and building a company culture of trust, right? Your team is following you. And it's easily, you could see that in form of results, right? The way you have grown so fast, rapidly, especially within 3 years, it clearly shows that you build a culture of trust. And is a trust whereby employees can fail, but yet they have your back and they have leadership back in terms of peaking their performance as well. So brilliant. On that note, I'm curious in terms of what are the current trends, Satyendra, you're observing in the IT market, and especially I want to touch base on cloud services and data, big data.
Sure. See, when you talk about the cloud, definitely the new normal and a multi-cloud, as I told you, because Microsoft brings in their own experience in some things. Oracle brings in their own experience in something. AWS, they are the first mover advantage they have. They bring in. But one thing is, I feel from a trends perspective, even I tell my team members that you cannot say that I'm an Oracle Cloud expert or an AWS expert. You should be a valid driver. You can drive any car. If your fundamentals of driving are very good, you can drive any car where whatever comes, it just takes you 3 seconds, 5 seconds to understand where exactly those operation point of view. And then the valid drivers park any car, anything. So same way, the same thing is like once you know the fundamentals of strong on the Oracle Cloud or any other cloud, you can easily learn and adopt the same. So cloud is definitely the new normal, and that is going to be staying. It's not that it's not going to end. Other side, now when you talk about the GenAI side, it is like I can't say it's a buzzword, but again, when I was looking at some of the Gartner reports and all, see the hype cycle of Gartner, you might be aware, and one of those Gartner leaders was talking about saying that the GenAI hype cycle is different from the previous cycles, and this is realistic and more, and people have already started in adopting it. For example, if you're doing some mundane work and you will be gone out of the things, so there'll be somebody else who comes a smarter way of doing it, automation. For example, Oracle Cloud, when they started, or Larry started something called autonomous database, he said people are prone to errors when we're talking about doing some human things. So can we eliminate those and automate most of it, and so that there are no errors, human errors, which will yield 100% availability and all. That's where he started something called autonomous database, which is very popular. And he got this idea of autonomous DBA from the Tesla. He was on the board of the Tesla, and they said autonomous cars, when they're preparing, why don't I prepare a database which is autonomous? And that has really changed the way things work on automation point of view and all. And on the technology side, when you talk about people are looking for, how do we always, the fundamental remains the same in the any business is do more with less. Simple. That will not change. How do I do some X work and optimize it so that I only spend minus Y or Y minus Z or something like that. Do more with less is a fundamental thing wherever you go. So GenAI has actually helped in doing that, where it's if you are not adopting, your competition will adopt and move forward. But the natural language was there almost 15 years back. It is nothing new. but I was actually having thinking of a startup maybe 2010 timeframe on the natural language with an SMS based solution and all, but I was too early to think through that time. And then they realized, okay, you have to have ideas who are matching to the market requirements. If you're too early, you'll be lost, or you are too late, you will be gone. So that's a different story. But again, the large language models, how it behaves, it replaces human in many aspects, the knowledge point of view and all. So I'm seeing a lot of move towards the Gen AI. It is only in 1%, I can say 0.01% what we are doing today, but world is moving towards on Gen AI side. But there are a lot many opportunities. It is not replacing your jobs. Let me clearly tell you, it is not replacing the human jobs. The same human, you can do 3 things or 4 things if you're adopting the Gen AI. Gen AI is only an augmenting and helping the humans to do more with less, and that's where. And it's not the things like when I started, it was okay, Oracle database. Then the careers, people said Oracle database will not be longer if some new technology is coming up. It's still there. But only thing is, you're doing more, and some of the automations, they'll be like if you're doing a 10 hours job, it will become 2 hours job. But you need to think what other 8 hours I need to do to make my job worthy for the office or for the organization which are working. So, and the data point of view, the fundamentals of future is data. Data is not going to change. How do you extract the information out of the data is the thing, which is where your data warehouse coming into picture or a lake house coming into picture. And now Gen AI based environments are coming in picture. So those are transition from a definite warehouse machine, data warehouse to lake house to Gen AI based solutions and all. So definitely the world is moving towards. We need to understand where we have to keep our area. For example, always I tell my people that you have to be customer centricity. Put yourself in the shoes of the customer, and then you will be respecting their demand and serving them. So that's the fundamental rule I will give to my team, that always think he might be saying that I need it in 1 hour. You're thinking he always says that, but again, that 1 hour depends on what is his customer's needs he has to fulfill. That is the reason where he is giving you. So you put yourself once in your customer shoes, and then the service will be automatically improved. So that's one thing. So customers' needs today is always do more with less. World is moving towards Gen AI. Adopt. For example, if you are a SaaS provider, how do we ensure that your Gen AI will help you to increase your SaaS adaptability? Or if, for example, my content writing guys, initially they used to be my content writing on LinkedIn or the articles and all, they were putting their brain and all. Now they're using Gen AI to the my HR, which was taking time to write letters and all, they're using Gen AI to write letters faster. It doesn't mean that HR is replaced or my content writing is replaced. They're making it fast so that the number of jobs will be reduced in terms of the need. But those jobs for maintaining the Gen AI based products, supporting them, those jobs will be shifted. So currently what I see is cloud is going to be there. And cloud will be the fundamental for Gen AI. Now you're seeing the NVIDIA. It was nowhere. Now it's the world's largest, or from the largest company, I can say, from a market share point of view. Where the only thing is you need to think through where the world is moving towards. You make your right investments. Who heard about GPUs earlier? Now NVIDIA's GPUs are everywhere. And the other important aspect I want to say is Oracle has done this, and why I quoted earlier in my interview also on the Larry's point of view. Larry was like phenomenal guy where whatever he says, he does it. For example, what the continuous innovation is important in any product, any company. Without innovation, you will be faded out, you will be thrown back by your competition. So what he did is, there is something called a product called Exadata. Exadata is just like, he again got this idea from the iPhone, saying that iPhone is everything is together by Apple. So why don't have a box which is hardware, software and database together called an Exadata. So there he has done a lot of innovations and all. Now, a recent article in the last 1 week or 2 weeks back saying that OpenAI and Microsoft are using Oracle Cloud for their Gen AI. So people said, why? Because Azure has got its own cloud. AWS is also got cloud. Why they have chosen Oracle is because fundamentally 2 aspects which Larry says, or which is the real fact, is data is important. The data movement from GPUs to where it is stored. So there is something called remote direct memory access architecture, RDMA is a concept which Oracle has invented. It says that rather than the cyclic approach of moving the data from network to this, memory to memory, they talk. That's an RDMA architecture where all these GenAI based GPUs with RDMA architecture are running on OCI, which is Oracle Cloud. And that's where the people like OpenAI are coming here and using these particular things, or Tesla's, or our Elon Musk has took almost $1 billion worth infrastructure for his XAI product. Again, is because of that fundament. So the innovation is important, and then we need to understand who is the player and then put your things on the things. So to answer your question, cloud is going to be there. GenAI is picking up a lot. It is in the initial stages. We need to see where we have to put ourselves. For example, in our office, I was just thinking in last 6 months, GenAI, what should we do and all. Then me and my data engineering team decided that, okay, can we have, because end of the day, GenAI is more popular from the ChatGPT, to be frank. ChatGPT is like a synonymous word of GenAI. And people say, okay, I'm asking something, ChatGPT is giving me the answers. Then we expanded this thought process saying that most of the ERPs which are on-premise, if we take that ERP data and put it in a large language model, refine that or study that, retrain that particular large language model with the customer's data, and have a ChatGPT based option to their salespeople, rather than going to the dashboarding, logging into the report, overnight ETL runs, 24 hours back data which is coming and I'm downloading and doing it, because these guys are on the road, they're running. They cannot sit in a laptop and say I need to do the reports, dashboarding and all. If you have a chat based option to a salespeople who are a part of the large organization, and that he says, what are my last 3 invoices for this customer? What is my latest sales data? These are the questions they are asking to the chat. That chat gives you the latest data from their ERP systems. That becomes a huge thing. So Chat for App is what we named. Chat for BA, Business Applications, is the product which we just launched. We are working towards it. So it's like you have to innovate, always saying that using the technology, how do I solve the customer problems? That is the important factor. Technology is one side, but again, how do we solve the customer problems, do more with less, or if somebody is doing XYZ way, how do we fasten it, is what I believe, and that will decide your future as a services company, as well as adopting those technologies to serve our customers.
This is brilliant. Thank you, Satyendra. What I love, in fact, I would be more interested to learn more about the sales standpoint, because more often than not, I often see sales are doing many things, and if you can help them to become more productive, more focused on getting in touch with the clients, helping them to solve the client problems would be helpful. And you also touched upon the Gen AI is not going to replace. It's, if not anything, it's going to help us to become more productive, right? As you rightly pointed, your current HR, how they're leveraging technologies, everyone. I mean, I'm in the entrepreneurial journey, and more often than not, 10 years ago, when you had to go on the entrepreneurial things, you need to have a big team. But I don't need to have a big team, right? You use technology as your team and start your journey. And in terms of customer reach, or in terms of everything, I mean, we feel like that we're living in a beautiful world of generative AI era. If you use it wisely, it can help you to become more productive. But I'm still yet to hear, Mr. Satyendra, in terms of I understand from a productivity standpoint, the Gen AI is going to help, but I'm more interested and curious to understand from a business outcome standpoint, where certain programs or projects that has helped businesses impacting the bottom line overall, right? That's something I'm yet to hear. If you have anything, please do share. But we often see this hype of generative AI or anything. But ultimately, it's all impacting how the technology is going to impact and improve the bottom line. I need to see those case studies as well. So going back in terms of your leadership, and again, I want to emphasize the way you have grown the company from 4 people to 350 people in a span of 3 years. How did you go about building a culture? Because I'm a firm believer of your culture delivers your business results, right? And how did you go about ensuring that all your team are thinking and acting in the same way, and yet delivering the constant business result. Could you share some of the best practices for us?
Sure, Kiran. So when you talk about the culture is very important. So actually, I was reading the Hit Refresh from Satyendra Pasalapudi, a famous book he has written, being a CEO of Microsoft. So he was stating that there is a culture he has modified at Microsoft and what Microsoft is today because of the cultural changes. What he said, he used the word know it all versus learn it all culture. So that if somebody says I know everything, you will never learn. So, and this was his point, saying that continuous learning is the major thing which I have adopted in Microsoft. And when we got into this particular role, and not only this, as I told you that continuous learning is the constant thing which I've been doing it in my 24 years of career, but how do you translate that and bring that into a culture within the organization? So what happens is overnight you cannot do it, but again your fundamentals, if they're strong and create that particular things. For example, at Infolob we have created something called IPSA team, which is Infolob Professional Skill Acceleration Academy, which is a 4-member team exclusively trying to help the learning aspects within the team. For example, across the organization, this particular team is responsible for, one is the learnings on the communication side, email etiquette, those programs. The other one is the learnings of the knowledge wise, how they are doing it. For example, removing the dependency from an individual is a major important aspect. How do we do that? Is where when you share the knowledge and ensure that there is a documentation, there is a particular process is in place, and also we have created a culture of knowledge sharing within the company, continuous knowledge sharing. For example, which I believed it from the beginning is knowledge sharing is knowledge gaining, is where my dad used to say that why are you reading alone in the home? Why don't you go and bring your friends to your home, or you go to the friend's home, discuss and learn. So that was in my childhood itself. He has sold that particular thing, that when you are sharing and when you are explaining to others and reading, and you will make wonders. So the same principle I adopted at Infolob, and saying that every individual has to have some at least a session a week or a session a month. So what happens normally happens there is when somebody is preparing to present before a wider audience, the amount of pressure he goes in preparing and ensuring that somebody might ask this question, I have to prepare it well. So within 1 day or 1 week, he prepares almost a worth of 1 month activity. And when this guy goes and shares that knowledge, 30 people in the class or in that particular room are getting that 1 week's effort in 1 hour. So it's a double effort. So, and then no problem if somebody is not listening. You just, at least my leader who is speaking there will gain the knowledge. So in the consulting space, knowledge is important. I'm not worried about people leaving the organization with the knowledge, because if you don't do it, customers will leave you. So what you need to do is, you need to ensure that they are very skilled. You have to retain the employees in different ways, not that making them dumb. So I tell always my team is, money is only once in a year we discuss on the appraisal. But if you are knowledgeable and if you are showing that thing to the customers will always be, we will be a differentiators among our competition, and customers will be happy, and you yourself will be happy, because looking at there are people who have built careers from starting with me, and they were very happy. They are in US, they are doing that. They simply say, this is what it is. The knowledge is, so the continuous learning is one of the cultural aspects which we have done it. And the other one is the communication. Most of it. So yesterday also I was having a leadership podcast given to my team. So I believe in that the communication is important across the organization. If that improvement of the communication, hundreds of problems are already sorted out. Whether the customer escalations, the team's things, or a person going on a leave and he's not updated it. So the communication is a fundamental thing in any relationship, whether it is at home or it is. So I ensure that people start communicating more so that they sort out all the differences. Otherwise, I'm thinking that the other guy is thought about me, something like. So if somebody has a conflict, I go and sit and says, I don't want to get into picture. You openly talk. close it, and then the relationship will improve when they are openly talking and then splashing out all the differences. And also communication is one thing, and we as a team can do 100 things, not a single individual can do. So collaboration is another thing. So these are our cultural things which I propagate, tell and inform in various sections. And then I always think that they should interact with your top management to understand what is the organization's vision and how they can mold. So I have a program called Coffee with Kumar, where I copied it from that Karan's Coffee with Karan. And I spend 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes in individuals on a thing, and then in a group of individuals. So I will cover all these people in a span of 6 months, so that what is our thought process is clearly articulated and they can do wonders. And I will be roaming around talking about customers, saying that, okay, Mr. Customer, this is what we do. If we don't give the same pitch to our people, they cannot support what we are selling. So there are sessions which we take as an organization wide, saying that this is where we are selling, this is where we are saying we got an award, this is where we are saying we have 800 plus certifications. That's because it's because of you people, and you need to continue to support and give those brownie points for me to sell to the market. So that's where a collaboration is one important aspect which we do it. And whatever you do, I would tell my guys that consistency is an important aspect. You have to provide that consistency. It is not that one day I'm doing this, next day I'm going flat. And as you also mentioned, this is one of my 7 C's for my organization's culture in terms of curiosity. You should always be curious. That curiosity will get to know what is happening, and then curiosity always will be helping in your continuous learning is another thing. And putting customer centricity as a point where and I'll tell my guys, customers are the people who are paying us. If they are happy, we are happy. And with a few sales people, we could able to add a lot of logos. It's because of the quality of the work. And that I translate back to my team, saying that because you people, we are winning this, because of your quality work, this customer is happy and he spreads the news to the customer. And that's where. So there are some fundamental things which I ensure we are at Infolob, which are fundamentally, and if you have this culture, you don't need to worry about the company.
1 second. Doing very well. I mean, this is brilliant, Satyendra. And what I liked about is in terms of...
Let me see if...
This is brilliant, Satyendra. Thank you for sharing as well. I mean, what I loved about is in terms of knowledge sharing, right? And one of the fastest way people learn is through discussion, learning and experiencing others. And that culture of continuous sharing, and I could see that why you have grown phenomenally, because that's the way we learn. And more often than not, you talked about this collaboration. What I see practically here, Satyendra, is as you grow the business, right, where you have got so many functional units, in the name of collaboration, there's always certain frictions happening. It's always going below the line, pointing the fingers. It's not my job, it's your job. And we often see this friction even at the leadership level as well, right? And this causes disengagement among the teams because the way their leaders behave, the team also starts behaving. I'm just wondering, how have you experienced this in the past? How did you go about it? Because for me, personally, this is one of the biggest challenge where there's so much of disengagement coming from the fact of, on the name of collaborations, things are not moving ahead, but in terms of leaders going below the line and not really delivering the results. So I just wanted to touch base around that.
Understand. So transparency is one thing, where if you're more transparent, then those kind of leadership issues will be sorted out, where fighting each other and all. See, definitely the politics will be there in any organization. It is not, and it's a human thing. So that human thing, how do we overcome is the transparency, and with the transparency, the trust will be formed. And we need to see, when you're framing the process, we need to always see if it is hitting or you're biased. You should not be biased. So you should be numbers and then those things, because I was like, after coming into this role, I was just thinking about where I remember Vajpayee's words to Modi during the Godhra events and all, saying that you should follow the Rajaniti and all. Then I was just searching for it. What do you mean by Rajaniti? Then I found that, okay, when you say Rajaniti means when you are in the top, you should always not show the biasness and equal justice to everyone, then nothing will, no problems will come. For example, if, okay, he's my friend, or he's my relative, or he praises me a lot, if I show the differences, automatically you are giving that things to point of discussions and all. When you're top, you have to be equal, and your policies and your behavior, everything, you should see anyone with the same things. So the rules of engagement should be the same for across, then this particular problems will be sorted out. And it's easy to say, but it's very difficult when your organization is getting bigger and bigger. So, but again, what I believed is no biasness, and you have to have the point system. If I'm rating him 3, what are the regions? And your salary to be according to that, rather than a 3 rating guy will be given more than a 4 rating guy or something like that. So no biased, and if you have your strict things, everything will be in the right position.
Brilliant. And I think what I liked about is you sharing your practices in terms of being transparent, being this is brilliant, Satyendra. And what I loved about is being transparent and building that trust and being unbiased is one of the ways that you move that friction and that dysfunctional teams, we often see that, right? And increase the level of employee engagement. Because I truly believe that managers are going to play a critical role when it comes to enhancing people's experience and also enhancing their performance. But as you rightly point, but I just wanted to touch base on the trainings. How effective are these trainings for managers? Because what you rightly said, right? When it comes to building skills, when it comes to building knowledge, you could do with training. But when it comes to relationships, when it comes to communications, when it comes to leadership and activating your culture, do you see trainings are effective, or perhaps there are in a systematic, programmatic way would help?
Okay, so you're right. It's not like 7 habits, findings and all. They listen and come back. But again, if what I believed is the feedback, the constant feedback. If you're giving your constant feedback to your managers and say that this is where it is, this is what you did, this is how you're supposed to do, or something like that, that improves them a lot. Because end of the day, how you behave, your managers also behave in a similar fashion. And they learn by seeing you or growing. They grow by seeing you, or you have to be always, you cannot be biased, as I told you earlier and all. So by looking at us, they will follow and they will adopt. So, and if they're doing something wrong, give them the feedback. There is nothing wrong or right. Give them the feedback saying that, okay, this is what you did, this is what you're supposed to do. And those are like on the job trainings rather than going in a classroom things and all. So the review meetings which happens on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and having a one-on-ones with them, making note their points, listening to them and say, sorry, I don't agree with disagree. But again, give them why you don't agree, all those things. So for my managers and the top leadership, what I believe is you need to give the constant feedback, and that will improve rather than a regular trainings or whatever. It's not, it's an on-the-job thing. It cannot be like you take an off of 7 days and learn and come back. Absolutely not.
Yeah, and I agree. And feedback is like a muscle. The more you use it, the more effective you would become, right? Yes. Finally, Satyendra, in terms of your aspirations, what are your future aspirations in terms of your people and in terms of your organizations? Where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years?
So from an aspirations point of view, definitely I want to grow up the ladder, responsible for thousands and thousands of managing thousands and thousands of peoples, as well as creating an opportunities to the youth which are there. So I'm looking forward for taking this company to the next level, and if in future there are exits happening and all, where do we play that? So I'm right now preparing myself for the independent directors program, so that I can be on a board of multiple other companies to ensure that we pass on our knowledge and then gain the other board members' knowledge and all. So that's the other area which I just kept it, so that when I'm getting closer to my retirement, these things will definitely help on that aspect of it. And trying to be little bit philanthropic side of the story, we need to see how we can do it. So we and then I'm a big fan of Mr. Naidu, Chandrababu Naidu. So now he's back in power, to see how from the state of Andhra Pradesh, from where I belong to, if I get an opportunity to serve, where we started an incubation center in Andhra. It's called a place called Rajamandri Adhikavi Nanna University, with an aim of bringing the top-notch universities, top-notch colleges. Many companies will go and give them the opportunities, but the middle universities, or the universities which are not so popular, the people inside that, they'd also be very intelligent people. Give them the opportunities is where we started that incubation center, and that will become a continuous source of the employment, or the people who I can get it. But we will be catching them at the second year, third year, and then training them. So what I want to be in future is create an opportunity for people who wants to shape their career, because their parents are farmers. There is nobody within their families who can give them the direction. So I'm working on towards that particular program, so that there's a AI-based program which gives them the direction based on their requirements. Because right now what is happening in the market is, when my friend joined for data science, I'm joining. Whether you are eligible for that, we don't know, because my friend joined, I'm joining. Whether you have that skills which are suitable for them. And now Naidu was talking about, Chandrababu Naidu sir was talking about the skill census rather than the generic census. So those things are there. We'll see how it goes, but definitely looking forward to taking Infolob to the next level, and then grow up the ladder and take more responsibilities, and should be allowed to be an employment generator in the future.
I love your passion when it comes to creating employment, and that was the whole point of this podcast as well, to create a platform where the viewers can get inspired and learn. And your philanthropic side of of your life, right, in terms of how you can enrich people's life by giving a proper guidance, is quite inspirational as well. Thank you, Mr. Satyendra, for sharing your insights. We touched upon a lot of topics, right from leadership, right, what struggles you had to go through from being a technology leader to a business leader, and how you scaled up business from 4 employees to a business of 350 plus, and it's still in a growth trajectory. And I love your passion about in terms of taking your organization forward and getting more and more, creating more and more opportunities for your own teams and employees. These are all insightful and very enriching. And I really wish you and your team all the best. And thank you for your time as well.
Thank you, Kiran. Appreciate it and enjoyed discussing with you. And thanks for giving me an opportunity to be part of your platform.